students, today we are going to revise the lesson, The Landscape of the Soul. Before we begin, let us have an introduction of this. In this lesson, the author tries to show a comparison of the different forms of art based on regions. In different regions, what kind of art form is popular? This is the theme of this lesson. This chapter deals with the stories and myths circulating around famous painting in ancient times. This chapter contains a few stories also related to the famous paintings. As the story proceeds, it conveys that the emperor may rule within kingdom, but the artist is the only one who knows his painting within. This statement means that an emperor can be very powerful, he can rule the territory around his kingdom as well, but he cannot rule the painting made by a painter. He cannot understand the painting completely which is made by some other painter. He is able to travel in his painting, whereas the emperor is unable. The painter is able to travel in his painting because whatever he has made, he has felt that, he has understood that, then only he has visualized it. Whereas the emperor is unable because he only can admire the outer beauty. It shows that the painter is able to imagine his painting with his perception, but the emperor can only see what lies before the eyes and not within. Emperor can only see what is in front of the eyes, not the hidden meanings. Whatever things are hidden, the emperor cannot watch them at all. Here we have a painting. This is a Chinese painting, and obviously the painter who has made this, he must have some different thoughts related to it. But we cannot actually understand what was going on inside the mind of the painter while painting it. A few more examples here. These are traditional Chinese art. Now comes the key points. Before we begin the lesson, there were a few words given and the students were supposed to understand the meaning of the terms given throughout the course of the lesson. First term which was there, that was anecdote. So what the meaning is, the meaning of anecdote can be inferred as a short account of a particular incident or event, especially of an interesting or exciting nature. These anecdotes are used to impart moral lessons as well to students as well as grown-ups. We can consider them any happening, any exciting story, short story. The second term which is asked here is delicate realism. Delicate realism is the alluring quality of the art which makes it seem real. When any work of art, any painting, like as you can see, this is a painting, this one is also a painting, but these things seem real. They seem like they are photographs. It is an interesting concern for the actual or real are opposed to abstract. Here, delicate realism, you can only understand here is that it is a kind of painting which looks real to us. See here, we can see it seems like it's a photograph taken, and this also looks like the picture of a real peel. Okay, these days on internet you must be watching lot of video tutorials related to like how to make 3D pictures, 3D paintings, and after the paintings are ready they look like real things. A few more examples here. This is the example of delicate realism, and this as well. Next term was illusionistic likeness. Here the painters basically create a kind of illusion, as you can see in this picture. Illusion is created. It refers to an adjective of the technique of using pictorial methods in order to deceive the eyes. They deceive the eyes, these painters. It's a normal hallway, passageway in this picture. It's a normal passageway, but the way it is painted, it is making it look weird. The reference is to an illusion created by the semblance of something. A few more examples here. See, this also is related to illusionistic likeness. These are very popular photographs found on internet. The next term which was there, that is figurative painting. Figurative painting refers to the metaphoric representation of a piece of art through the eyes of the creator's imagination. Anything the person imagines and he paints. These pictures actually show something. They show what the writer is going through, or what the writer has felt about certain thing and how he has presented. If we see here, then we can see here that these are the clouds and this is the mountain, and the clouds are trying to overpower the mountain as well. Mountain is standing in front of them, in front of these clouds as an obstacle, and the clouds are ready to defeat it. Next term which was given is conceptual space. It refers to relationships with the abstract than the factual representation. This is the incalculable dimension of the understanding of concept. Conceptual space means that whatever concept the writer has developed, whatever abstract concept the writer has developed, on the basis of that, whatever painting is created, that comes under this category. So as it was conceptual, the pictures related to this were not available, at least I could not find. Now comes the lesson. In this part, the lesson is divided into various parts. First of all, comes the part in which the essayist is trying to contrast the two types of workmanship. And what are they? First one is Chinese art and the second one is European art. In the first part, the writer is comparing Chinese art to European art. How? By utilizing two different stories. In China, first story is here. The first story starts here. In China, during the 8th century, the Tang head Xuanzong appointed a painter, Wu Daoji. Name of the painter was Wu Daoji. To enrich a divider, a wall. To paint a wall, to decorate a wall by painting it in royal residence, the palace. So after the painting was ready, the emperor was called to see it, because before it was under construction or under the work was continued, nobody was allowed to watch it. Once the painting was ready, the emperor was called. The emperor began to see the external appearance of the composition of the art. What art piece was prepared there? The emperor was watching the outer beauty and was enjoying it. Whereas the painter offered to show him the way within. He says that, I'll show you how. There was a cave at the foot of a mountain in that landscape what was painted there. What this painter did, he clapped, okay, and there was a door. There was a door in the cave, and that door was open. The painter told the emperor that he will show him what is inside, and he goes inside. And what happens after this is that the whole painting completely disappeared. Not the trace of brush was available there on the wall. And from that time onwards, that painter was not seen anywhere. Okay. Here, it is given here. Now, the second story which is given in this is, a painter wouldn't draw an eye of a dragon. A painter made a dragon, but he was scared of making an eye for this dragon. Why was he scared? Because his dragon seemed so realistic that he thought, if I'll draw the eye, then this dragon will fly. This was the second story. Now comes the third story. In one of the stories, this is the example of European art. A master blacksmith falls in love with the painter's daughter. The father did not approve of their marriage because he did not like his profession. So what he did, the blacksmith sneaked into his painting studio and painted a fly on the painter's latest panel. Latest painting what the painter was making, this blacksmith drew a fly there. The fly seemed so real that the painter tried to swat it before realizing that it was not real. Next day when he saw this, he tried it. The painter accepted to train him in his studio, and he also accepted the marriage proposal for his daughter. These stories reveal how art form is believed to be followed in different regions in the world. In Europe, an artist wants the viewers to see a real viewpoint by borrowing his eyes. This lesson also tells us that what kind of art form is prevalent in different cultures, and with the help of the example, the writer is telling us that in Europe, an artist wants the viewer to see a real viewpoint by borrowing his eyes. Do not enjoy the beauty of the painting yourself. Try to understand it from the perspective of the painter. Whereas in China, the artist doesn't paint a real one but uses his inner and spiritual voice to create an abstract piece and wants the viewer to choose his own pace. But in China, what happens? The artist wants the observer, the person who's watching, to choose his own pace. Whether the person wants to see from right to left or left to right, up to down, the Chinese artist wants the viewer to choose his own space. The viewer can enter the painting from any side. In Chinese art, the viewer can start watching the painting from any side and can travel according to his own imagination. This is the contrast between European art and Chinese art. This is to be kept in mind. European art and Chinese art. What the difference was? The difference was that in European art, the artist wants you to borrow his eyes and then admire the painting. But in Chinese art, the painter wants you to enjoy the painting yourself at your own pace. Now, one more concept was discussed in this lesson, that is the Shanshui concept. Shanshui means mountain water. And according to this concept, when they are used together, they make a word landscape. Mountain water means landscape. Because according to this concept, no landscape is complete without the reference of mountain or water. Okay, most of the time both of these things are included in paintings. Now, what are these two things individually in the painting? It is here. Mountain is also known as yang and it is the male counterpart, and water is known as yin and it is the female counterpart. Mountain, whereas the mountain is warm, dry, upward to heaven, vertical and masculine. Water, the female counterpart, is moist, cool, horizontal and feminine. And apart from these things, that is these things which we're discussing, yin and yang, there is a middle void also, where the union of yin and yang takes place. Okay, this middle void works like union works like pranayam. For example, whenever you do this breathing exercises, what you do, first of all, you inhale, then you hold your breath for some time, then you exhale. So that holding of the breath where it takes place, that is the middle void, according to this concept of Shanshui. And that is the place where actual pranayam takes place. And where the union of yin and yang takes place, that place is called middle void in this concept. The middle void is a place where a man finds an important role, and man, according to this concept, is considered to be the channel of communication in the space between heaven and earth, which are the two poles of the universe. Which are the two poles? Heaven and earth. And this concept also emphasizes that man's presence in the world, in the universe, is essential. Now, another concept which is discussed here is getting inside outsider art or art brute. See, there is a general tendency in the art society that the artist is supposed to be trained by someone. But what happens, sometimes there are people who are not trained at all, but they are very skilled. They can make beautiful paintings. They can make amazing pieces of art also, craft also. Those people are considered to be outsiders or art brute. Okay, and they do not get much respect in this field. Previously, now this thing is not followed. This genre is described as the art of those who have no right to be artists. Here means No right to be artists because they do not have formal training of any type. So, according to the trained people, they do not have the right to be artists as they have no formal training. Yet, these people have talent. They have talent. They are untrained, but they are having talent right from their birth. The notion of art brut or raw art, this thing is also called as raw art. Means work of art without work of art by untrained people, was of works that were in their raw state as regards cultural and artistic influences. Other people who were trained, they called the items prepared by these people to be raw art. So when we are discussing here the concept of raw art, so it is very important to discuss Nek Chand. Nek Chand, who prepared the rock garden in Chandigarh. Okay, we all know him very well. He prepared the whole garden with the help of all the things which he has used, reused, best out of waste type. If you have visited, you must have understood. So the thing created by Nek Chand is also outsider art or art brut, because he also was not trained. Whatever he did himself with his imagination. So his work comes under a category of art brut. That was all for this lesson. Thank you everyone for watching.